wait and late. A lot going on this back end in Georgia. You know the rules. Fair use copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, I just want to let everybody know, just in case, okay, because I'm late, I might just go like I had notated. I might just go later on this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time, between 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure. And thank you for coming in. Today, yes, we are going to be, hello, Art of War. Art of War. I have a question, Art of War. I'm going to leave it to you, Art of War. We're going to see how this goes, okay? Because technically, I wasn't supposed to be coming in this time of day. But I said, I got to be a person of my word. This is the question I'm asking you, Art of War. Okay? You want me to continue or move to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. later on Eastern time? Okay? So, hit 1 if keep going now, or 2, evening time. That's the question. That's the question. That's the question, Art of War. And thank you guys for coming in. Well, I might just do 2 shows. We'll see. Thank you guys for coming in. Yes, this is the suspect that has been caught. That has been caught. And today we're going to discuss, how was he caught? How was McDonald's, yes, McDonald's was affected in this episode. And what was found? Oh, Art of War says, I like to show idea. Oh, we gonna see. We gonna see. We're gonna keep it light then this morning. We're gonna see. Okay. So today we're gonna discuss, how was this person caught? What was found in McDonald's? The background on the suspect, the CEO suspect, as well as were there signs prior to this. And the person that we're talking about, I gotta show it. It's this gentleman right here. This is the one. He is the mess. He is the mess and distress, as they say. He is the one that was caught. And the question is, I do have this as a question. Do you guys consider him a hero? Is this gentleman a hero? And the person that you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, the person that you're looking at is the suspect, okay? The CEO suspect, okay? The person that pop, Brian Thompson, the CEO, okay? And the question is, like I stated, is this gentleman that you're looking at, do you consider him a hero? Okay? And the reason I'm asking that is because all of what's been going on, everything that's been going on, everything that's been said about this person and how he was found, we're going to take a brief review on why some people are considering him a hero. Okay? Why some people, I repeat, are considering this person, okay, Luigi, a hero. Okay, if you guys know, he was the one that, quote unquote, took out the CEO, Brian Thompson, this gentleman right here, okay, on December the 4th. And because he is the CEO of the United Healthcare, and because of that, some people feel that Luigi is a hero, a quote-unquote hero. Why? Because of all the controversy of the healthcare, okay, United Healthcare. The company has been through, it's been under investigation. As a matter of fact, it is still, quote unquote, two lawsuits going on, even after the passing of Brian Thompson. Why? Because the lawsuits pertain to United Healthcare. Okay, the company has been under investigation by the Department of Justice for potential antitrust violations. United Healthcare parents company, United Health Group, was recently, like I said, sued. Okay, sued. Thompson had reportedly sold over 12 million of his own stock. Okay, pertaining to these investigations, pertaining to these lawsuits. Now, I want to move forward. It comes down to the suspect that was caught. Yes, he was caught. And how was he caught? We're going to stroll down. He was actually caught. We're going to read it. We're going to say it. 9 a.m. at a 24-hour McDonald's in a small town called Altoona, Pennsylvania. And because there wasn't a warrant, if you guys can recollect, yes, there was two rewards out. One that was $10,000, and the other one was what? $50,000. Totaled up $60,000. Because this particular gentleman was arrested in the McDonald's, okay, it was a customer that said he looked a little odd. He looked a little odd. And because all of the pictures were going around all over here in America, all online, customers were talking, chanting, to the point one customer approached an employee about this, a McDonald's employee. And when they approached this McDonald's employee, they all looked at pictures that was online. And then that's when the employee, the McDonald's employee, called the law enforcement. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm going to show you what happened. I'm going to show you exactly what happened with one of these customers that witnessed this. And this is fair use. This is fair use. I'm going to probably let a little bit time come in for YouTube guidelines. For YouTube guidelines. And the person that you're looking at, this is the actual quote-unquote suspect that was caught in McDonald's. Yes, he was arrested in McDonald's. Yes. And like I said, is he a hero? And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. I'm going to give a brief before I show some clips due to YouTube guidelines to cover myself. He was found 200 miles west from New York at a McDonald's on 407 East Plank Road in a small town of Altoona, Pennsylvania. And like I said, at 9 a.m. And quote unquote, both a customer and McDonald's employee inside of the restaurant noticed him. And that's when Officer Tyler, came up after the call was made. Okay, came to the job, and he's only been an officer for 6 months. Okay, and he said as soon as he saw this suspect, Luigi, that's when he said he knew it. He knew it was him. He asked him to pull his mask down. Asked him to pull his mask down, and that's when he knew that this was the suspect that has been going all around the headlines, okay? And upon the arrest at this McDonald's that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, Luigi still had the alleged device that he used against the CEO, Brian Thompson. And in addition to that, what the officers found while he was at McDonald's eating a hash brown. You cannot make this up, ladies and gentlemen. He was eating a hash brown, eating a hash brown on his laptop. So what did they confiscate at the McDonald's? He had fake IDs, still fake IDs. And I want to actually show he still had the same ID that he used, okay, to check in at the hotel, the hostel in New York. Okay, and not only that, he had U.S. passports, several masks, a jacket, and he still had the silencer. Yes, the silencer. And according to the prosecutors in Pennsylvania, and all this happened in Pennsylvania, According to the prosecutors, he also had allegedly $8,000 cash in US dollars, an additional $2,000 in foreign currency. The device that he had appeared to be a Ghost GUN. Hello, Mr. Mr. says he was pretty smart. I wonder why he answered their questions and gave ID when he didn't need to. Ooh. And see, this is the thing. Because according to the officer, and I'm glad that I'm going to pin that, Mr. You're correct, because he didn't have to. He didn't have to. And thank you for coming in. He did not have to do that. Because I think he did that, Mister, because he got nervous. Because if you can remember what the response was when they approached him in McDonald's, okay, and they asked him, have you recently been to New York? He was nervous and he started shaking. He started to shake. And like I stated, also during the press conference held on Monday, authorities in Pennsylvania, they are still asking for people, us, you guys, people to call still the Crime Stoppers again to reach out, okay, to see if they know the whereabouts of this CEO suspect since he had been in Pennsylvania a few days, okay? And they're trying to pick up the steps. Where was he? Where did he stay? Now, I want to just put this out there, okay? And this is allegedly, to cover myself, there are talks, okay, that somebody assisted him, okay, because he had been, quote unquote, on the run for 5 days. For 5 days. And hello, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. And like I said, when it comes down to this, what's been going on, people have to understand, okay? This is why you can't judge a book by its cover, because nobody in a million years would have ever thought this gentleman was, quote unquote, the actual person that did what he did to the CEO. Okay, and we're going to talk about Luigi. Okay, that is his name, Luigi. Okay, now we're going to talk about everything, his background, his family, his sisters. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he has family. Okay, he has siblings, he has sisters, and I want to make sure I cover myself. All right, and thank you guys for coming in. Mr. says, yeah, but why didn't he know his rights? He was smart. He could have just kept quiet. They didn't have anything on him at that point. Absolutely right. Mr. says, have you been to New York lately? I don't answer questions. Can I see your ID? Not without accusing me of a crime. No, you can't. And see, I'm glad that you put that in Art of War. Yes, please be respectful in the comments. Also, please like. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as you come in. Thank you so much, Art of War. And Mister, you're absolutely right. All right, you're absolutely right, because he did not have to give an answer. But I want to point this out. We have to look at what he had in his bag, right? Because he did have a bag with him. We do have to take that into aspect, right? Now, according to what the authorities said at a press conference that was held on Monday, and thank you guys for coming in, the arrest was said to be peaceful, right? Because, Mister, you were right. He's already talking. Mister said he didn't need to show them what was in the bag. You're absolutely right. He didn't need to show them anything. He didn't. But see, this is what happens when you come from a background such as this gentleman, okay? And I'm just being honest. Okay, he had no criminal history, no criminal background, and even with the DNA test, right? Remember that they found the water bottle that he dropped in New York, and when he came from Starbucks just before he made the hit on the CEO, right? Remember they found the water bottle, right? And they also found the backpack in Central Park. Okay, all of these key details, right? But the reason they could not hurry up and find a DNA right away, because there was nothing in the system. Why? Because he had no criminal record. And the DNA testing that they did perform, it would have taken weeks. So we're going to be honest. Mister, you're absolutely right. He pretty much told on himself. And the next question is, did he want to be caught? Because according to people, and that's why the authorities are trying to reach back out to you guys, right? They're trying to reach back out to you guys, okay? To reach back out to the quote unquote Crime Stoppers. They want to know, have you guys seen him anywhere, okay, within the 5 days that he was missing, that he was quote unquote on the run? Mr. says suspicion is not a crime. You're right. And I'm glad you said that, Mr., because guess what? His lawyer, and I have to show this guy, his lawyer, and I don't really too much care for his lawyer, to be honest. This lawyer, Thomas Dickey, right? He said there's no evidence. Mister, are you Luigi's lawyer in this chat? Are you his lawyer? Are you coming in? Are you coming in from his law firm? Because according to what Luigi's attorney, who was hired only just yesterday, and Gil, thank you for coming in. Gil says, do not need a warrant to search his bag if it was found on him. Oh, and see, these are the things, people, I'm wondering, right? We have to take this into perspective. I'm going to highlight this. This person right here, this is Luigi's attorney that you're looking at. And he recently, said there is no evidence. Yes, he did. He actually said this. He said, and he's been going around doing a number of interviews and various outlets, okay, ever since yesterday, right? Yesterday. He said he has stated that his client is not guilty. I'm highlighting it, and there's no evidence. And I'm wondering if the reason he's saying it is just because of what Mr. in this chat, as well as what Gills is saying. Do not need a warrant to search his bag if it was found him. I'm wondering. And Gil says, because of the potential for further harm to the general public. And see, people have to understand. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. People have to understand. I think this is one of the reasons his attorney, okay, is trying to put out there that this man is innocent. My client is innocent. Because it's just like what. And Lulu, thank you for coming in. Lulu says, good morning, Ma. I'm so sad that they caught him. And see, Lulu said it. See, Lulu, this is my question to you, Lulu. I'm glad that you came in. This is my question. Do you feel that he is a hero and he is innocent? The CEO suspect. That's the question. Now, some people feel, because I think that's what you're talking about, Lulu, based off of everything that has happened, okay? But I want people to understand, when it comes down to this gentleman that we're looking at, right? He is not your typical criminal. He had no criminal history background. None whatsoever. None. And according to what we're going to talk about it, okay? According to what was found, okay? What was found on him, Gil says, my suspicion is that he is not the hero. We all hope he is. And you're absolutely right. See, this is why I titled that, because this has played a huge impact on the McDonald's that he was found and that he was arrested at. This played a huge impact on McDonald's itself. And like I stated, when they arrested him, right, this is what he had on. This is what he had on, ladies and gentlemen. They found a number of fake IDs. They found a number of U.S. passports, several masks, a jacket, and the actual device that he used to you know what, the CEO, Brian Thompson. In addition, they said, according to the Pennsylvania prosecutors, they said that he had a total of $8,000 U.S. cash as well as $2,000 foreign currency. So my question is, why did he have all of this? Was he planning on leaving the country? And hello, Patriot. Thank you for coming. Patriot says, well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Patriot. Lulu says they have denied so many people not getting help that they need. And see, this is why a lot of people are saying that he should not have been caught. Gil says, just a corporate hitman with evidence found on him to throw authorities off the case. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even with the backpack that was found in Central Park, we have to remember the backpack that was found. I got to show it, ladies and gentlemen. I have to show the backpack. It had Monopoly money in it. And people are stating the reason that there was Monopoly money in it, okay, was because what? He wanted to make a point. He wanted to make a point with how the insurance companies, okay, are monopoly, right? So this is why they found nothing but Monopoly money in the backpack, right? So this is why people are speculating. This is the backpack we're talking about. This is the backpack that we're talking about. And the backpack, I want to make sure I hit on this, right? Because with Luigi, he comes from a prominent background. Hello, Marathon Cal. Thank you for coming in. Marathon Cal says, top of the top, sister, from my understanding, you need reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed in order to detain someone. A warrant would be necessary to search without consent. And Marathon Kev, I'm glad you said that, because also I think Gills, or it was either Gills or Mr., they said the same thing you're saying, Kev. They're saying the same thing you're saying, Kev, right? So then the question goes again. Why did the CEO suspect talk to them? And I mean, why did he even do? Because just like you said, they did not have a warrant. There was no warrant when they actually came into this McDonald's, right? They went into this specific McDonald's and interrupted his eating. And what comes to all of this, right? I'm going to actually play a clip, because I think we're at that time right now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit that like button. I want to play an actual clip of one of the customers that was actually in this McDonald's. Yes, you cannot make this up. He was actually in this McDonald's, and unfortunately, because he left, okay, he had left and came back, he was not the customer that got the money with the employee that called the police. And I'm going to play a clip of this gentleman. You cannot make this up, okay? And with this particular gentleman, he did say they were all joking. They were talking loud right in front of Luigi. They heard, literally they was like talking like, is that him? Is that him? They were saying all of this in front of Luigi's face, right? And they actually walked up to an employee. And they're doing all this in front of the CEO suspect's face, and he was still just sitting there eating a hash brown. Literally eating a hash brown. So much to the point, people were taking pictures of this man. You cannot make this up. And here's a clip of the story. This man is just giving his take on it. He was actually one of the customers at this McDonald's in the small town of Pennsylvania, Altoona. And this is fair use. New
York, but I thought the group of us, I thought it was more of a joke, and we were kidding about it. But then, as it turned out, it was him. And like I said, the employee that thought it was him that I guess started the initial investigation on it. I talked to her later. I said, was I here when he...
Now, I'm going to fast forward, right? So he's doing all this, and like I stated, the CEO suspect is sitting in the back on his laptop, eating a hash brown. You cannot make this mess up, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot make it up. Right? I'm going to play a little bit more. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. This is Politic Graham. We're talking about, yes, the CEO suspect. Do you think he is quote unquote a hero? Do you think he's not guilty?
To me, he did have a backpack, but my friend Mike that said this, I asked him again this morning. I said, "Were you kidding or not?" He said, "No, I was serious." He goes, "The backpack, the jacket, resembled the one he said the day of the shooting." There was no reaction like from him whenever my friend said that, and the worker, if she heard us talking, he had to have heard us. But
now, notice what he said, right? And this is what makes me question. And thank you guys for coming in. The person that we're talking about is the CEO suspect. The CEO suspect that was apprehended Monday. Yes, Monday around 9 a.m. in the morning. You cannot make this up. Now, the question, that's why I'm wondering, did he want to be caught? Because if you just heard what that gentleman said, who was also in the McDonald's, he said we were all joking around him. We were talking. We were all joking. And he didn't say nothing. So much to the point, people were taking pictures of this gentleman, okay? And also so much to the point, okay, they actually called 911. All of this is going on, and he's doing nothing. This gentleman we're talking about is doing absolutely nothing. And thank you guys for coming in. We're going to just break it down. Break it down. And this is the actual ID that was found on him still. And this is the ID that he used to check into the hotel, or should I say hostel, okay, in New York. And as you can see, this is a fake ID, right? Complete different name. And it was a New Jersey ID. All of it is fake. Fake, fake, fake. And then to top it all off, he was still carrying, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. What was found? Electronic devices. One of the electronic devices is a laptop. Fake ID. The 3D printed, okay, device that was used with the silencer in his backpack, as well as $8,000 cash and $2,000 in foreign currency. Now, authorities in Pennsylvania, they're trying to retrace his steps. Why? Because, like I said, there's been speculation, and we'll talk about it in the live in the evening, because I'm going to do 2 lives on this. There are speculations that he was not alone. Okay? I repeat, there are speculations that he was not alone in this. Now, authorities said that when they feel that this particular suspect, Luigi, he kept a low profile, okay? He took steps to avoid detection, okay? So much to the point, even the backpack that he was carrying, that he had in McDonald's, the prosecutors are even stating this, the particular backpack he was using was to stop any form of cellular phone going through, like transmission. Right? This is what the prosecutors are stating. Now, even the governor himself of Pennsylvania, I want to make sure I show him. The governor of Pennsylvania, he said violence can never be used to addressing political differences to try to improve ideological that is not ideologies, that is not what you do, right? And he called this person a coward, not a hero. Now let's talk about the family. And Gil says, you don't think that if the police thought this was the guy, that isn't reasonable suspicion? Now look, I would say this, okay? There are some points, right? Some points were made, Okay, why did you approach this man and ask him why did you ask him his name and all this? Like, because they did not have a warrant. They just came into the McDonald's. They did. They just came in. I mean, I want people to understand this. Anybody can just, if that's the case, any police officer can just walk up to you and say, okay, let me see your ID. On what grounds? What grounds? Right? Because according to the people that called the law enforcement, they stated, right, he looks suspicious because he looks similar to the pictures that had been going around. Okay, and the images that had been released. But is that grounds for them to ask him, okay, who he is and his ID? Is that grounds? Is that legal grounds? Is the question. Now, according to his family, we're going to talk about his family, right? He has a cousin that is a Republican, okay? He is a House of Representative. Yes, yes, yes. He has a cousin. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm assuming because his family are very well known, very prominent, okay? Very, very prominent. Has a physician, a sister that is a physician, right? We'll talk about his family. We'll do a background, right? Just how popular this name is, okay? Because like I stated, he has a cousin that is a House of Representative, is a Republican. And this is why his family had to release that statement. Patriot says, the grounds of suspicion, if you look similar and did nothing, you have nothing to fear. Patriot also says, unfortunately, that's how our law is today. And the question would be, we'll talk about that part tomorrow. And I'm going to highlight that. We will talk about that tomorrow when it comes down to the quote-unquote law, right? Because we got to understand that there will be a quote-unquote new sheriff in town, January the 20th. And a lot of people are saying, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to everything? We're going to talk about that, the quote-unquote law. And how will Donald Trump impact the veterans? How will Donald Trump impact, okay, families? And also, how Donald Trump will impact people that were not only arrested, but convicted of what happened January 6th on Capitol Hill. Because he did mention a pardon. Now, we'll talk about that on the political side, as far as what you said, as far as, unfortunately, that's how our law is today. Now, as far as this CEO suspect, Luigi, okay, he comes from a very well prominent Italian family, okay, and as soon as this hit Monday, this the statement. I went on everybody's platform. This is their state. I promise you, everybody posted this statement and said, "Get the heck out my face. Get the heck out my face." This is the statement. Everybody posted this. The whole family. You look up this last name. And I guarantee you're going to see this statement passed around like no tomorrow. Patriot says, Trump mentioned that the January 6th committee that did that to the January 6th people will be arrested. That's what I heard. Look, Patriot, you know we on it. Oh, we're on it tomorrow. Oh, we're going to have a nice time talking about that. And hello, Child on Demand. Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much, Child on Demand, for coming in. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that law, that quote-unquote law. Because like I said, there's a new sheriff that's going to be in town January the 20th of next year. And the question is, how will the law move when he comes in? Patriot says, when will you start your stream tomorrow? Woo! Let's go, Patriot. Now I will see, put on your notifications because I will try to get it in the morning time. I'm gonna see around this time. I'm gonna see. Give me time because I wanted to try to do 2 lives today. Okay, and like I stated, we have a lot to talk about, okay, on the political side, right? But I wanted to get this dealt with Luigi, okay? Because according to Luigi's attorney, his attorney says he's innocent. Patriot says 7 o'clock for me right now. Okay, well, right now it is 9 a.m. So you're 2 hours behind. So let me keep note on that. 2 hours behind. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. We're talking about the suspect, CEO suspect, Luigi, as well as please come in tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about the quote-unquote law, right? And how will it be how the law will change or be affected, as well as how the veterans will be affected January the 20th, in addition to how, okay, on the political side of things when Donald Trump comes in. Now with this person that we're talking about today, Patriot says, I'm in. I just want to be on time to your next stream. Thank you, Patriot. I appreciate that, Patriot. Yes. Now, with this statement that this suspect's family put out, they said, statement from, okay, the family regarding Luigi. Unfortunately, we cannot comment on news reports regarding Luigi. We only know what we have read in the media. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by this news. The family. Now, with Luigi, what are the charges? What are the charges? Okay, so he has 2 sets of charges, one in Pennsylvania and 1 set of charges in New York. Now, I'm trying to understand, with Luigi's attorney, Thomas Dickey, what is he talking about when he says that Luigi is, quote unquote, there's no evidence? I'm trying to understand that for the love of God. I'm trying to understand, what is he talking about, right? Because as you guys can clearly see right here, we've talked about this evidence. Even with the fact Luigi told on himself at the McDonald's. How did he tell on himself? He's talked. Okay? He talked. He showed them his fake ID. He talked to them. And even to the point when the officer asked him, had you been to New York City recently? He talked. And he was shaking. He told on himself. But we're going to talk about it. Charges in Pennsylvania. Okay? First charge, forgery. Next charge, firearm not to be carried without a license. Third charge, tampering with records or identification. Next charge, possessing instruments of a crime. And last but not least, false identification to law enforcement employees. Those are the charges for Luigi in Pennsylvania alone. We're not even talking about what's coming up, right? May the 9th, on Monday, he made his first appearance. He did not have a lawyer, right? He had not hired a legal counsel yet. So Thomas Dickey did not come in on the back end until Tuesday, yesterday. Now, on Luigi's Monday court appearance, okay, it was basically to confirm who he is, okay, his legal government name, right? And also his last place of residence and his last occupation, and to confirm, okay, like I stated, his name and where he worked at, okay? He stated that he worked as a data engineer for 3 years up until a year ago. Also, the prosecutors during the first hearing on Monday in Pennsylvania, they noted that they found allegedly $8,000 in U.S. cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and also a Faraday bag, which is basically a bag designed to stop transmission of cell service or other sort of things like that. Now, what was Luigi's response? This gentleman, what was his response? See, this is why I think he's playing a game, right? I think he's playing a game because his response was, quote unquote, I actually want to address two things. I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. This is what he said. This is what Luigi said on Monday. I want to break that down, right? Monday. Gets arrested early that morning at McDonald's, right? He makes his first appearance without his counsel that he hired, okay? No counsel. And when the prosecutors presented that what was found at McDonald's was $8,000 cash in U.S. currency and then $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and a Faraday bag, which is basically a bag designed to stop transportation of cell service and other sort of things like that. Listen to what he said. I just want to repeat what he said. He said, and I quote, I got to highlight this madness. He said, I actually want to address two things. I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. That's what he says. This is what he says, ladies and gentlemen. David says, how many CEOs of these huge insurance companies have been responsible for people's passing or lack of care? David, I'm glad you asked that, and thank you for coming in. Patriot says, sounds like he got caught before he fled the country. And see, this is why, notice what he said. That's why I say, I think Luigi is playing a game, ladies and gentlemen. Luigi is not, he's not one of those. He is, this was pre-planned, right? Because we have to remember, he came into New York 10 days prior. He came into New York November the 24th, right? He didn't make the hit until December the 4th. As a matter of fact, at 6:44, he was waiting for Brian Thompson to walk up, right? He knew the time. He knew the time. So much to the point, prior to 6:44, he's seen our surveillance camera walking to Starbucks, getting a bottle of water and 2 protein bars. And then he goes up to wait to make the you-know-what. I'm telling you guys, Luigi is not, he planned this out, because look what he said on Monday's first hearing. When the prosecutor stated what he had in the McDonald's, right? When the prosecutor stated what he had in that McDonald's, he said, I actually want to address 2 of the things that you said. I don't know where that money came from, and I'm not sure if it was planted. I want you guys to think about that. And even so much to the point, they have hired an attorney, and I don't think Luigi hired that attorney. I think, and this is just my perspective, why? Because Luigi's attorney did not want to say who hired him. He didn't want to say who hired him, right? According to Luigi's attorney, this gentleman right here, and thank you guys for coming in, according to his attorney, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. And hello, Junkyard. Junkyard says, hi, PG. Mario is upset at Luigi. Mario has to go solo now. You are not right, Junkyard. And I want people to understand this. I think this is all a game Luigi is doing. This is a game. This is not an average 26-year-old gentleman that you're looking at. This is not an average 26-year-old American. I'm going to be honest. This is not. Now let's move forward. We're going to talk about, and what we're talking about, Reef says, hello, Reef. Reef says, it's a setup. I said it from the day one. And see, this is what people are talking about. This is why people are saying, what is going on? Luigi did not do this by himself, and he left crumbs even in New York, he dropped one backpack and it only had, what did it have? Monopoly money in it. He left clues. Even at the McDonald's that they arrested him in, this gentleman right here said it. He said we were making fun of him. We were all laughing and he heard us. This gentleman right here. I'm going to play it. I'm going to replay what this gentleman said. He said, I know if the lady heard us, he heard us. I'm going to play it. And please hit that like button.
To me. He did have a backpack, but my friend Mike that said this, I asked him again this morning, I said, were you kidding or not? He said, no, I was serious. He goes, the backpack, the jacket, resembled the one he said the day of the shooting. There was no reaction like from him whenever my friend said that. And the worker, if she heard us talking, he had to have heard us, but there was no. You know,
So this is what I want you guys to understand. Notice what he said. Notice what he said. He had no reaction. And he heard them talking. And so much, they were taking pictures of him. They took a picture of him. They took a picture of this man eating a hash brown, wearing a beanie with his mask half off, sitting in the back of a McDonald's. And Reef, I gotta pin what you said because I believe every bit of it. I'm pinning it. Thank you, Reef. Thank you for coming in. Ellie says it was a job and whoever paid the lawyer paid him to do it. Seems government repeated the crime. The guy was being investigated and now look. Hey, you guys tell me, right? Reef says they have made movies similar to this. This is how in your face this is. Exactly. Patriot says, was it actual Monopoly money or do you mean fake cash? Okay, Patriot. Now, the money that they found, you cannot make this up, ladies and gentlemen. The money that they found, it was actually Monopoly money that you have in the game called Monopoly. Yes. Play money, Monopoly money that you have in the game of Monopoly. Yes, you cannot make this up. Reef says they have made movies similar to this. Patriot says that's hilarious. Exactly. That's why I say this is not your average 26-year-old. He left behind crumbs for us to figure out. And not just us, the quote-unquote whom the authorities to figure out. He made a quote-unquote statement. Junkyard says McDonald workers can't get your order right, but McDonald worker out in the boondocks recognized him. See, this is what I want people to understand. This particular gentleman that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, Luigi, he's not your average 26-year-old. He's not. He's not. And we're going to break down why he is not your average 26-year-old. And this is why I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest. This is why his attorney is stating, I got to play it. This is why his attorney is saying, my client is innocent. There's no evidence. None. But I'm wondering, is his attorney doing this for attention? Narendra, hello, Narendra. Shout out to India. Thank you for coming in. Narendra says, that looks like my high school photo. And see, this is why I want people to understand this is not your average guy. And the gentleman that we're talking about, yes, ladies and gentlemen, is the CEO suspect that did what he did on December the 4th to the CEO, okay, of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. This particular gentleman, and what you're looking at, this is the same ID that he still had on him at McDonald's, right? You can't make this up. Chris says, didn't they say they caught him with the supposed? Yes. Yes, Chris. Chris says, don't really know what to believe anymore. Yes, guys, please hit that like button. We're talking about, is this person innocent? Is he a hero? Because according to what his attorney is saying, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. That's what his attorney said. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. Thank you. And see, Chris, why is his attorney, quote unquote, I gotta show his attorney. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I don't know who hired his attorney. I really don't. Because his attorney is going around on multiple platforms saying that his client is innocent. Angel says, Trump pardon, please. Oh, Angel, wait a minute. Angel, thank you for coming in. Are you saying that Trump needs to pardon this man? Angel, I know you didn't just say that. Are you? Wait a minute. Thank you guys for coming in. G says, the thing I noticed is his facial expressions and mugshot. So we're going to pull that mugshot up right here. Gene says his facial expression and mugshot, no care in the world. The photo of his face from the cab looks suspect. Looking straight at the camera looks planted. And it's funny you say that because I was wondering like why was he looking into that camera like that? And thank you guys for coming in. Boogman says it's not the same guy. Narendra says this guy is guilty. But same cannot be said about our Lord and Savior Diddy. Oh, no. Charlie, man, you're laughing. Book says the hitter was a split tooth and no unibrow. Now, I want you guys to, and that's another question. I'm glad that you put that out there. I want to actually show the actual clip first of the attorney, this gentleman's attorney. And his name is Thomas Dickey. Okay, and he's been doing multiple interviews stating how his client is innocent, how there is no evidence, and that he feels that Pennsylvania shouldn't have given him a bond like they should have given Diddy. I'm adding the Diddy part, but he feels that they should have given him a bond, right? This is what he said, and thank you guys for coming in. Child on Demand says that man has a unibrow. We can see the hair growing back. Come on now. You guys not right, but we're gonna play this attorney. We're gonna play a clip of this attorney that's representing Luigi. Okay, and he recently did an interview. Okay, and this person really was on this attorney's tail because what he's saying, it doesn't make sense when he said there's no evidence. He's saying that there is no quote unquote evidence, and I'm gonna play it now. Thank you guys for coming in. And this is quote unquote fair use, fair use. Fair use, ladies and gentlemen, fair use.
Actual criminal charges from New York yet. So he hasn't had an opportunity to make any plea. My anticipation is going to be when and if that happens, he's going to plead not guilty. I mean, we've seen no evidence. We've seen nothing. And I was reminding people today about, you talk about America a little bit and what a wonderful.
Now, he's stating, I want people to understand this. He's stating that his client and the gentleman that I'm talking about, this attorney right here, let me go to another one that you can see better. He's stating,
all businesses need.
Sorry about that. He's stating, quote unquote, and thank you guys for coming in. He's stating, quote unquote, that this is all just not guilty. Everything is, quote unquote, not guilty. And this is the attorney that is representing, quote unquote, the CEO suspect, Luigi. And I'm going to play a clip from his, quote unquote, press conference. This attorney is not playing, okay, when it comes down to wanting to, quote unquote, Let it be known I am representing the CEO suspect, 26-year-old Luigi, who was arrested at the McDonald's in small town Altoona, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to play a little clip, okay, from this particular press conference that he had at his own law firm. And thank you guys for coming in. Yes, he held a whole press conference yesterday. Okay, this is the same day he was just hired by Luigi. And I want people to understand he had only been hired, okay, to represent the CEO suspect within less than 12 hours. And now he's already making runs, right? He's already making motions. He's already making runs, doing press conferences, doing interviews about this. And he has only been representing, okay, Luigi for less than 24 hours at this point. And thank you guys for coming in. I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip of what was said at his own press conference, at his own, yes, his own actual law firm. And thank you guys for coming in.
We're going to move forward.
That he should not be eligible for, or sorry, that he should be eligible for bail, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about some of those reasons.
Yeah, so in Pennsylvania, the Constitution says that all crimes are generally a bailable offense. Bailable offense means you have to set some form of bail. The exception to that is if it's a capital case, which means the Commonwealth or the government is looking for the death penalty, and I'm proud to say I'm one of the few attorneys in Pennsylvania that's qualified to do death penalty cases. But
wait, I have to put a pause on this, right? I got to put a pause on this part. Notice what he put in the middle of this, because that wasn't the question that the lady asked him. Why did he have to put out there that I'm qualified to do cases like this, to do quote unquote unalive penalty cases? Why do you have to put that out there, right? And thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. Dara says, if you're new to the live, make sure you subscribe and turn on all post notifications. Good morning, Dari. Good morning. And what you're looking at, this is the actual attorney that's representing the CEO suspect. Okay, his name is Thomas Dickey, and this is the actual press conference that he had at his own law firm, and he had only been representing this CEO suspect less than 12 hours, and he's already quote unquote, I'm just being honest. It's like he's selling his law firm, he's selling himself. Oh, that's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking at. I'm going to replay this clip, what he said, and continue. And thank you guys for coming in. And this is quote unquote fair use. And in this clip, he's basically explaining the quote unquote law in regards to, okay, in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, he's stating that Pennsylvania, his client should have received a bond. Why his client should have received the bond? Because there's quote unquote no evidence. Right?
We're going to move forward.
That he should not be eligible for, or sorry, that he should be eligible for bail, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about some of those reasons.
Yeah, so in Pennsylvania, the Constitution says that all crimes are generally a bailable offense. Bailable offense means you have to set some form of bail. The exception to that is if it's a capital case, which means the Commonwealth or the government is looking for the death penalty, and I'm proud to say I'm one of the few attorneys in Pennsylvania. Those which this is not a capital case, knock on wood, at least that I'm aware of it right now, or if a first degree murder, which carries in Pennsylvania life without parole. If the charge which you're faced with is life without parole, then you're not eligible for bail. Since the crime, at least what was set forth by the district attorney, was alleged to be a second-degree murder, that's not life without parole. So I believe that bail should have been set.
Now, he's going to say that. And Angel, I had to highlight what you said, okay, because I completely agree, okay? I completely agree what you said, Angel, and thank you for coming in. I got to highlight what you said. Angel, quote unquote, said, and I quote, it appears after surgery and being prescribed medication, he became mentally ill. And that's one thing I talk about on this channel, you guys. I talk about things like that. We're going to talk about mental health, especially how it has played a big factor here in America, especially with veterans, especially people who are not veterans. We're going to talk about that on a political aspect tomorrow morning or in the evening. We'll see, right? Because this is a great example, especially what Angel you just said. Okay, he had mental illness. Okay, now this is what some people are speculating. Let me make sure I correct myself because I don't have Luigi money, right? I don't have Luigi money. Because Luigi walking around with fake IDs, fake passports, allegedly, according to the prosecutors in Pennsylvania, $8,000 U.S. cash and another $2,000 in foreign currency, as well as still a 3D printed GUN with a silencer still in a backpack in McDonald's. Okay? I don't have it like that. But Luigi does. 26-year-old Luigi does. I don't have it. But it goes back to, like Angel stated, and I highlighted, ladies and gentlemen, people are speculating that because he had a huge quote unquote surgery earlier this year that played a factor to what happened, okay, December the 4th. And Chris says, bro works for the sick. What? I can't repeat that, Chris. Christian says, free my boy. Junkyard says, PG, if the eyebrows don't fit, you must acquit. Now, I want people to understand this mental health is really, really serious. It's very, very real here in America. And that's one of the reasons I was very kind of upset with. And I'm just going to be very light on the political aspect of things. But I was kind of very upset that the fact they made, quote unquote, headlines that the United States, yes, sent, what was it, $95 billion funds, yes, to Ukraine recently, yes. And we have, I want to just be honest, ladies and gentlemen, mental health here in America is real. It is real. Inflation here in America is real. Because if you have $95 billion to give to another war that it is not pertaining to us, then why don't we have $94 billion sent here? Right? Because there's no reason for this man to have been walking out and about and around at all. And I'm glad, Angel, you mentioned that because his friend or roommate, okay, because he allegedly last lived in Hawaii, recently has also been going around doing interviews. And his name, I want to make sure I put it right. His name is RJ Martin, okay? He actually worked for a company called Surf Break in Hawaii. And he mentioned that surgery that Angel is speaking about that I pinned in comments. He mentioned about the surgery and how Luigi had previous back issues before he even got to Hawaii. But when he came to Hawaii, okay, people have to understand, right? People have to understand. When he came to Hawaii, he ended up getting injured even more. And it was pressure on his back, got worse. So much, they had to give him a whole nother bed to accommodate him. Okay? They had to give him a whole nother bed. They had to position him to accommodate him. And even RJ Martin said after him leaving, okay, Hawaii, he still kept in touch with him. And so much in touch with him, the last conversation he had with this person, the CEO suspect, Luigi, he showed the quote-unquote, he showed the quote unquote surgery, the pins that was in his back, right? And Luigi had surgery earlier this year. And when he had this surgery, this is when he cut himself off from everybody. He cut himself off from his friends in Hawaii and his co-workers in Hawaii. He cut himself off also, not only from them, but he cut himself off from his own family. Yes, his own family. So much to the point, and I want to make sure we reiterate this. He went ghost for 6 months. He went ghost for 6 months. And I want to actually play, and I think it's about that time. And thank you guys. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button coming in. And also, you can share, you can subscribe to this particular channel because we will get more into detail on the political aspect of it tomorrow morning. But I'm going to show a clip of Luigi's friend, former roommate in Hawaii when he was working, okay, as a quote-unquote engineer. Yes, this is not your average 26-year-old. He was in Hawaii, and he was roommates with a gentleman named R.J. Martin, and thank you guys for coming in. And I'm going to play a clip. I want to make sure I hit the right points for YouTube, quote-unquote, purposes. Thank you for coming in. And the gentleman that we're talking about is this gentleman right here, R.J. Martin. We're going to play a clip when he talked about that surgery that the beautiful Angel Rodriguez spoke about, and I pinned it in the comments. Thank you, Angel, for pinpointing that.
So I knew he was going to have a surgery. So earlier this year, I checked in with him. He confirmed that he had surgery, and he sent me the x-rays. It looked heinous with just giant.
Now, do you see that? You see that? Now, it was at this point when people are saying that he disappeared. He just disappeared off the earth. Stop talking to people.
Screws going into his spine. After that, he called me once. I didn't pick up. We kind of texted a little bit, but unfortunately, I feel terrible now. I wish, I would have made more of an effort to communicate with him.
Did you?
Now, I'm going to play that part one more time. Thank you guys for coming in, right? The person that you're looking at, this is the former roommate in Hawaii that quote unquote Luigi, the CEO suspect, was roommates with, part of a company that he was doing engineering with. And he actually discussed how Luigi had back issues, even so much to the point after he had to go home and he ended up having surgery, back surgery, earlier this year. And that is when, according to him, they stopped communicating. So thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button, and we're going to play this little piece one more time for people to understand. Okay, with his friend R.J. Martin, he wished that if he could go back in the hands of time, he could have tried to communicate with him a little bit more. Because at this particular time, after he had the back surgery, Luigi, the CEO suspect, he cut himself from everybody. And I don't think R.J. Martin even knew just the seriousness of how much this person Luigi had cut himself from everybody. And thank you guys for coming in. I'm going to play that clip one more time. And once again, this is quote unquote fair use.
Your last conversation with him?
Mostly just text messages. So I knew he was going to have a surgery. So earlier this year, I checked in with him. He confirmed that he had surgery, and he sent me the x-rays. It looked heinous with just giant screws going into his spine. After that, he called me once. I didn't pick up. We kind of texted a little bit, but unfortunately, I feel terrible now. I wish, I would have made more of an effort to communicate with him.
Now, that person that you just saw, that is R.J. Martin, right? And the reason I'm showing him is because of what Miss Angel pointed out in regards to him having health issues on his end. But I want people to understand, we're going to talk about, okay, were there other signs, right? Were there quote unquote other signs? Because I think it was deeper than just a quote unquote back injury. I think it was deeper than that. And thank you guys for coming in. Chris says, bro works for the... Whoop. Tanya says the family apparently doesn't seem to think he had mental illness. They appear to be shocked that their son would do this. Okay, Tanya, thank you, God. Thank you for coming in. I want people to understand this. I think that they knew. They knew something was going on. Because of reports with his family that I'm going to pin what you said, Tanya. Thank you so much for coming in. Because of reports, his mother, specifically his mother, and I want to be careful with showing his mother, okay, for legal reasons, but his mother, she actually did a actual police report on him November the 18th, okay? And why did she do this quote-unquote police report? Because, okay, he was not answering any calls. Couldn't be found. Right? And I want to make sure his mother, it says, made the report to San Francisco Police Department on November the 18th. That is why, if you guys can remember the press conference that was held, they spoke on it. They spoke on the fact that Luigi had, quote unquote, connections with, I want to name the states, Pennsylvania, because he went to University of Pennsylvania, where he obtained his bachelor's as well as his master's in computer science engineering, right? Then they also connected him. We got to put it out there. They connected him with the state of Maryland. Why? Because that's where his entire family, the brand itself, is originally from, right? Maryland. And last but not least, they tied him to San Francisco. And the only reason they tied him to San Francisco, because remember what I just said, according to San Francisco Police Department report, his mother filed, okay, a report November the 18th. And I want people to understand this. I want to make sure to cover myself. It wasn't immediately clear whether he had been in San Francisco or if she just had a reason, his mother had a reason to believe that he was in San Francisco. Why? Because he had went ghost. He went ghost on everybody for 6 months after he had that back surgery. He went ghost. And thank you guys for coming in. We're going to move down a little bit, because if you guys just coming in, what were the charges? What were these charges? Right? Because he was caught at a McDonald's. You can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you guys for coming in. You cannot make this up. He was sitting in McDonald's, okay, eating hash brown with a beanie on. Guys were laughing, talking, rambling, saying it so loud to the point that one gentleman said he thinks that Luigi heard them. But Luigi did nothing but sit there eating a hash brown on his laptop. And while he's doing all this, he still had his backpack that had fake IDs, U.S. passports, as well as $8,000 cash, allegedly, in U.S., and $2,000 in foreign currency. This, ladies and gentlemen, is according to the prosecutors of Pennsylvania. And the reason I'm saying allegedly, because Luigi's attorney, Thomas Dickey, is saying there is no evidence. All this is just preposterous. Preposterous. This is according to the CEO suspect, Luigi's attorney, Thomas Dickey. this is what he's saying. He's saying that he is quote unquote innocent. And I want to make sure I'm going to show a clip just how upset, okay, Luigi was. He was just very upset. And mental health is real. Mental health is real, ladies and gentlemen. Because Luigi, okay, yesterday, because remember, Monday he had his first hearing. I want to go down. After they found him at McDonald's with the same ID that he showed the officer, okay, who had only been an officer for just 6 months himself. He was the brave officer to walk up to this gentleman who still had the silencer and the device that he used in New York to, you know what, to the CEO, Brian Thompson. He still had the device on him. And not only did he still have that, right? He had fake IDs, fake passports, and money. But an officer was brave enough to walk up to him, question him, all of that. They immediately arrest him. And what happens? Now we have charges. But if you guys are coming in, some people are stating, because Cav stated it, I think Gal stated it in the chat, and Mr. stated it in the chat. Some people feel that Luigi should not have said anything because according to the law, the officers, he did not have to even give them anything because the officers did not have a warrant. They just answered a phone call. They just answered a call from a dispatch because they were dispatched to go out there due to someone looking similar to the pictures that had been floating around, right? Because we have to remember there was a $60,000 reward out for Luigi. So people are saying that, hey, Luigi didn't have to say nothing. Luigi didn't have to say nothing because there was no quote unquote warrant. That's what they're saying in the chat. And thank you guys for coming in. Now, what are the charges? Let's talk about it. First set of charges, because there are charges now, Pennsylvania, and then there's charges in New York. The first set of charges in Pennsylvania due to him providing false information and what he had in the McDonald's. The charges are forgery, right? Okay, fire not to be carried without a license. I gotta say it that way, fire. Tampering with records or identification, possessing instruments of a crime, false identification to law enforcement employees, right? Those were the first set of charges in Pennsylvania. And he had to make his court appearance that night. That same day of Monday, he had been arrested in the McDonald's. And when he made his first initial appearance on Monday, December the 9th, that is when the prosecutors in Pennsylvania notated that the police, law enforcement in McDonald's, they said what was found on Luigi was $8,000 cash in U.S. money, $2,000 in foreign currency, and his U.S. and his passport, and another bag. And this particular bag is basically a bag designed to stop transmission of cell service or other sort of things like that. Why did they mention that? Because also at the McDonald's, it's allegedly that stated that he also had a laptop. So people, now we got to really understand, was he doing this by himself? Because they did a press conference. They did a press conference in Pennsylvania after they apprehended this gentleman, Luigi, asking for you guys to come and do it again. They want you to make a phone call or two again. They want you to put out, did you see him? This gentleman right here, Luigi, did you see him in Pennsylvania prior to Monday? Why? because according to them, he had been in Pennsylvania some days. And also, I want to also state this. The gentleman at the McDonald's that I showed you guys, right? This gentleman right here. I want to make sure I show it. This gentleman, he also hinted it. He also stated, and I quote, he stated, and I quote, some people stated that they thought they had seen him at that same McDonald's the day prior, Sunday. Okay, so that is why the authorities are now asking for us again, you guys, look, you guys, to call the Crime Stoppers or call 911 or call, as Tyler Perry says, call the Popo, because they want to know, where has he been the 5 days? Because according to them, he had been in Pennsylvania a couple of days, allegedly. But they want to make sure they confirm this with more help from the people. And I also want to state this before we move forward, because we're talking about the Pennsylvania charges. Oh, there are quote unquote New York charges. Oh, yes, there are New York charges. But I want to talk about the beautiful Pennsylvania. Beautiful Pennsylvania. Had it not been, and I don't care what New York says. I don't care what Eric Adams says, Mayor Eric Adams says. I don't care what that police, I'm telling you, had it not been for those people at that McDonald's, Luigi would still be out. Because you got to understand this, Luigi had not had criminal record. He did not have a criminal history. So how can he be in the database as far as DNA? How could he be in a database, okay, as far as DNA? Because remember, they picked up DNA, okay, from the water bottle that he drank water out of in New York. And in addition to that, they picked up everything that was around that backpack that they found in the Central Park in New York. And you also got to think about quote unquote fingerprints. They picked up all of this, but the question is, how can you find someone, for one, who's never been arrested, and for two, never been arrested to the point where you can even get DNA tests? So the DNA test that they had in New York of the CEO suspect, and that's why his attorney, and so you're not trying to play me. I'm going to say this. His attorney and him, they're not going to fool me, because his attorney is trying to say that his client, Luigi, is innocent because there's no evidence. Why he's saying there's no evidence? Because he knows that quote unquote DNA test, that DNA is not going to quote unquote stand. He's going to try to argue that. Even Luigi's trying to play a little game, because in that first court appearance hearing that he did on Monday, look what he said. When the prosecutor stated, okay, everything that was found in McDonald's that Monday morning, 9 a.m. Monday morning, his response is, in regards to that money that he had on him, right? That he had on him in that bag, he said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. This is what he said in the courtroom. You can't make this up. He said, I don't know where the money came from, and I'm not sure if it was planted. That's what he said. And see, he said that on Monday before his official counsel, Thomas Dickey, represented him. His official attorney, Thomas Dickey, didn't come on to yesterday with the second hearing. And the second hearing was the hearing for a request for bond, as well as for extradition. That was the second hearing yesterday. So Luigi has had two court appearances. The first court appearance was Monday night or Monday evening, right? where he's trying to throw out that the money was planted, right? He's trying to throw that out, that things was planted on him. That's what he's trying to throw out. That was Monday. Tuesday comes up, and I want to show this clip how he acted Tuesday. Okay, when he pulled up to the court, and I think you guys know the video that I'm going to show. And I don't know that's why I say he's not your regular 26-year-old. He's not your regular 26-year-old. Before I play that, I want to repeat what exactly that he said. I want to repeat what he said. I'm going to play it, though. And thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. This is what he said yesterday for the second appearance.
And completely out of touch. And insult the intelligence of the American people.
What in the world is going on? What in the world is going on? Now, I'm going to make sure we understand what in the world was he talking about? Right? What was he talking about? Now, he's stated, I want to highlight it because I typed it out. He stated, and I quote, and I don't know how or what does that have to do with that second court appearance that he made yesterday. But this is what he basically stated. He said, it's completely out of touch. It's an insult to the intelligence of the American people. What in the world was that? What was that? Help me. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Because mental health is real. We'll talk about that tomorrow, right? And we're also going to talk about it on a political stance, right? On a political aspect of it, as far as how Donald Trump will play a factor in this, okay? But you know, we just that political side will come tomorrow. But what he stated, what you just heard, that clip, that was yesterday when he had to appear to court, the second appearance in Pennsylvania. And he yelled out towards the media. He says, it's completely out of touch. It's an insult to the intelligence of the American people. And he made sure he said it fast because they tried to yank him in that courtroom. Yank him in that courthouse for the second appearance. Right? And we're going to talk about that second appearance. Why? Because he did not, quote unquote, officially have his attorney to represent him until yesterday. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. Now, with the second appearance yesterday, he entered the building, like I said, irate, excuse the typo, arriving with not one, not two, 12 officers on guard. Luigi's hands were handcuffed behind him with his back, as video shows him yelling. And one officer held Luigi's right arm while ushering him from a police vehicle in the courthouse, as 4 more officers rushed to help usher him into the building while he was screaming, what again? It's completely out of touch. It is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Now, this is when this attorney right here, Thomas Dickey, I got to show him who we're talking about. Thomas Dickey pops up. Unfortunately, pops up. Thomas Dickey has been going around doing multiple interviews, and he's saying that his client is not guilty. And that is why I titled this thumbnail, right? CEO CEO suspect, is he a hero or is he innocent or is he in the words of what the governor of Pennsylvania stated, is he a coward? Right? That is what the governor of Pennsylvania stated, that the CEO suspect is not a hero. But this person that you're looking at now, this is the representative that has been legally binded to the CEO suspect since yesterday, okay? Because according to him, he said he has only been Luigi's attorney for, now it's about, I'm going to say probably 24 hours, right? So with this attorney, Thomas Dickey, he's stating that his client, it should have received a bond yesterday. He should have received the bond yesterday. Why? Because according to him, he said in the state of Pennsylvania, when it comes down to cases such as his client, okay, especially in Pennsylvania, because nothing happened in Pennsylvania. The charges that I told you guys, according to him, he said that should have been legal grounds for his client to receive a bond. And I'm going to play a little clip of this press conference. Yes, you cannot make this up, ladies and gentlemen. He had a press conference at his law firm. Okay? If that isn't a clickbait, I don't know what to tell you in itself. He has a press conference inside of his law firm within, if it was yesterday, less than 12 hours of him representing Luigi. Right? I've never seen this before, but we're going to play it. We're going to play a clip of Thomas Dickey, okay? And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. And to all the mods, please handle the business if they're not being respectful in the chat. Thank you so much. And this is fair use.
We're going to move forward.
That he should not be eligible for, or sorry, that he should be eligible for bail, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about some of those reasons.
Yeah, so in Pennsylvania, the Constitution says that all crimes are generally a bailable offense. Bailable offense means you have to set some form of bail. The exception to that is if it's a capital case, which means the Commonwealth or the government is looking for the death penalty, and I'm proud to say I'm one of the few attorneys in Pennsylvania that's qualified to do death penalty cases. But knock on wood, at least that I'm aware of it right now, or if a first degree murder, which carries in Pennsylvania life without parole. If the charge which you're faced with is life without parole, then you're not eligible for bail. Since the crime, at least what was set forth by the district attorney, was alleged to be a second degree murder, that's not life without parole. So I believe that bail should have been set.
Now he said it should have been set. That's what he said. He said the bail should have been set. Okay? And the person that we're talking about is this gentleman right here, Luigi. He was, quote unquote, I'm going to stroll up so you guys can get a better picture of him. This is how he looked. Okay? That first appearance, that first court appearance on Monday, this is when they took him in. Right? This is how he looked. This is what he had on. And this is how he looked as far as head to toe goes. This is the night he was taken, or should I say, that first court appearance on Monday. Right? Now, this is all Pennsylvania. And according to his attorney, because of the charges, let's talk about the charges, why he says Luigi should have received some type of bail. Why? Because the charges in Pennsylvania, I've just got to repeat it, forgery. Weapon not to be carried without a license. Tampering with records or identification. Possessing instruments of a crime, false identification to law enforcement employees, right? There's nothing in regards to anybody getting unalived. That ladies and gentlemen, is why his attorney, Thomas Dickey, said, well, my client, Luigi, he should have got bail. Okay? And what I'm highlighting is the Pennsylvania charges. Forgery, right? Fire not to be carried without a license, tampering with records or identification, possessing instruments of a crime, false identification to law enforcement employees. This is why Thomas Dickey yesterday at his own law firm, right, inside of his own law firm, during a press conference said my client should have got a bond, even if it would have been $5 million. Even if it would have been $1 million. That's exactly what that's what his attorney said. That's what his attorney said. Don't get mad at me. That's what his attorney said. And I just want people to understand this, okay? With the second appearance, it got really wild. It got really wild because the first appearance, right? If people didn't know, right? There were two appearances. We talked about it. First appearance, okay, that was basically Luigi stating his real name, his government name officially, his government name, his occupation, his last place of residence, which was in Hawaii, right? His last occupation, okay? All these things. This is what was discussed the first appearance on Monday, right? And the first appearance, he's stating all this, and I want to highlight what he stated that Monday without an attorney, and I'm glad he has an attorney. Okay, I'm glad he has an attorney because Jesus, take the wheel. Monday, according to people, he spoke so eloquent, right? Because he talked back. He spoke at the first appearance. He says, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. I don't know where that money came from. The money he was talking about, what they found in McDonald's in that backpack, right? That $8,000 U.S. cash and that $2,000 foreign currency. He says, and I quote, I don't know where that money came from, and I'm not sure if it was planted. So he's already trying to play that, I don't know role. Now, second court appearance. The second court appearance, I want people to understand. Second court appearance, December the 10th, yesterday, Tuesday, came in upset, just very upset. Soon as he sees the media, he yells out, it's completely out of touch. It's an insult to the intelligence of the American people, right? He yells this out. What is he talking about? Nobody knows what he's talking about. Now we're going to break it down. During yesterday's court appearance, he was represented by Thomas Dickey, the guy that I just showed you guys. And during this hearing, Dickey had to tell Luigi to shut up. Why? Because he tried to interrupt during yesterday's hearing. And yesterday's hearing was the time to what? Request for bail, as well as on the prosecutor's side, ask his attorney as far as extradition goes to go to New York. And you guys know what that answer was, a no. So because of that, right, yesterday's court appearance, two things happened. Luigi pleaded not guilty. Going to highlight that. He pleaded not guilty, refused extradition to get sent back to New York for charges in New York. And also, the judge denied the request for bail due to charges, in New York. Because remember Monday's court appearance, these are the only charges in Pennsylvania. He doesn't have quote unquote real serious charges. They're serious, but not so serious as the charges in New York. Now we're finna move forward. Where you say, well, what are the charges in New York? What are the charges in New York? First charge, 1 count of unalive. Okay. Next charge, two counts of second-degree criminal possessions of a device. Next one, 1 count of a second-degree possession of a forged instrument. Next charge, 1 count of third-degree criminal possession of a you-know-what. Now, see, these charges is why he is not getting bond. That's why he didn't get bond in Pennsylvania, right? And as far as his attorney goes, Thomas Dickey, his attorney is saying there's no evidence. That's now, because all this is coming about, what does New York do, right? What is New York doing? Let's show it. Okay? Going to show it to you. You see this? Now New York is now starting a process because Luigi and his attorney are pleading not guilty and they're refusing extradition back to New York. Now New York is stepping in. And what you see right here, this was filed by New York. And this, ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, this is a warrant. This is a warrant that you're looking at. And with this warrant, I want to read specific. I'm not going to read it all, right? Not going to read it all. But as you can see, they discuss what happened December the 4th, right? Outside of Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, 1335 Avenue of the Americas, right? They break it down. They broke down what happened, right? But let's break down where they're stating the evidence applies, right? Here it goes. Detective Diaz, that he is informed by Pennsylvania officer Tyler Fryer, okay, of the Altoona Police Department, that on December the 9th, Monday, at 9:58 a.m., the defendant Luigi was taken into custody at McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That Luigi, the defendant, presented a forged New Jersey driver's license that was the same of Marco Rosario as his identification, which was based on the number on it, was the same identification that Luigi, the defendant, presented at the hostel, and that in defendant's belongings, now they're talking about the belongings, they found the device that was used in the incident that happened December the 4th. They broke it down. What was found? The silencer, the 3D printed, you know what, and written admissions about the crime. Now, what was those written admissions? Because we got to remember, I forgot to speak on that. What also they found, okay, as far as quote-unquote written admissions, because there was a 3-page manifesto that was also found while they apprehended him at that quote-unquote McDonald's Monday morning. And according to this, that was filed by New York, right? Right? It's all mentioned. So I'm trying to understand, how is Luigi's attorney going to explain any of this? How is he going to explain any of this? And I want people to understand this. Luigi's attorney that I'm talking about, Thomas Dickey, he's saying, I don't know. I don't know. My first time talking to my client is to get that relationship. Get that relationship. So he's saying, I don't know. He's saying the same thing in regards to his client. I don't know. Because the first court appearance, Luigi said, and I quote, I don't know where that money came from, and I'm not sure if it was planted, in response to the prosecutors in Pennsylvania saying, we found $8,000 cash, U.S. cash, and $2,000 in foreign currency. And according to his attorney, Thomas Dickey, right, he's stating he does not know. Why? Because he's stating, and I promise you guys, at the press conference that he had at his law firm, he stated, and I quote, I don't know what videos you guys are talking about. That's what he said. And he even told the people that came to his press conference at his law firm, he said he wants you guys to send him the videos. Because people actually stated this at the press conference he held yesterday at his law firm in Pennsylvania, where his law firm is. Right? He stated, and I quote, I have not seen any of the video. I have not seen anything that connects my client to anything in New York. That's what he said. Right? He said that. Now, let's go back. Because of Luigi saying I'm not guilty, and they're refusing extradition, now they're starting the quote unquote extradition process. And as part of the extradition process, what did New York, how did they respond? Now they done started an arrest warrant. They put out an arrest warrant to start the process of extradition. And specifically a felony arrest warrant. And according to this extradition process, it's going to take between 30 to 45 days. And because it's going to take between 30 to 45 days, where is Luigi going to be? Luigi is not going back to New York for a few weeks. He's going to be in Pennsylvania. And according to his lawyer says, where is the proof? There's no evidence. Right? And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you support the channel. Also, if you would like to support even more, hit that like button. Put in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you feel that the CEO suspect is a hero, or is he innocent, or just plain out guilty? Okay, plain out guilty. Because according to him and his attorney, he's innocent. Right? And thank you guys for hitting that button. Please hit that like as well. And if you want to support even more, you can even donate a super sticker or a super chat, or even subscribe to my membership if you would like to support the channel even more. Now, moving forward, when it comes to McDonald's, we got to talk about it. Everybody is being affected, and I'm going to talk about mental health even more tomorrow. Mental health is real, ladies and gentlemen. Anytime you come across somebody that has mental issues, if you are a family member or friend, everybody is affected, right? Everybody gets affected. And because of Luigi's actions, right? Because of his actions, they played a part with this McDonald's in Altoona. How? After they arrested him in McDonald's due to the phone call from an McDonald's employee, right? Because of it making headlines and suspect being arrested at the location, McDonald's has had to hire security. Allegedly, and have been receiving false reviews of its location under both Google and Yelp. One person under Google quoted saying in the review, "This location has a lot of rats. Do not stop here. If you're an American hero, they will sell you out And these are the false reviews that have been bombarding this location, right? These false reviews. All because this person that I'm going to show you guys had been arrested at that location. Now I'm going to read it again. One review said, this location has a lot of rats. Do not stop here. If you are an American hero, they will sell you out. Another review said, this location has rats in the kitchen that will make you sick and your insurance isn't going to cover it. Another false review, I got to make sure I say that, false review, stated, more like McDonald's. I hope obesity and heart disease are in network in Pennsylvania. Deny, defend, depose, dial, you know it. All of these are false reviews, ladies and gentlemen, that has been bombarded by this McDonald's. Then another review says, and I quote, the staff was rude. They called the police on my friend Luigi. Rats everywhere. And these are things that have been bombarded, right? And because of that, Google had to remove a number of false reviews of this particular establishment, right? And a Google spokesperson released a statement with a media outlet stating, these violate our policies and are being removed. Yelp, on the other hand, their response is, they're just deleting all new reviews of all the McDonald's that are located in the town of Altoona. So they're deleting all the new reviews. Like, that's why I say everything has a ripple effect, right? And the way Yelp is doing, they're only deleting all the new reviews, but they're keeping the old reviews up. Right? And according, if you go on Yelp, this is what they put a statement. This is what they're saying. If you pull it up, this is their statement. I'm going to highlight it. Unusual activity alert. This business recently received increased public attention, which often means people come to this page to post their reviews on the news. While we do not take a stand one way or the other when it comes to this incident, we've temporarily disabled posting of content to this page as we work to investigate whether the content you see here reflects actual consumer experiences rather than the recent events. Please note that we apply this same policy regardless of the business and regardless of the topics at issue. Now, this is the statement that Yelp put out, right? Google didn't do all this, right? Google said, we're going to delete all the new reviews out of all of the McDonald's locations in Altoona, okay? And call it a day. Call it a day. Yep. You see what they did? They did a whole statement. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. Support the channel. Junkyard says they needed a new headline to take everyone's eyes off what's going on. Patriot says, I'm playing original F7 while listening to this epic stream. Thank you so much, Patriot. Now, Ranger says, guys, hit that like button. Yes. Junkyard says, I have a question. How did they get an x-ray of his surgery to post up on the news? Yes. The way they got that, like I stated, with Luigi, he had already posted that. Luigi had posted that on his platforms. But remember, you guys, because this has been going on, the authorities have pulled, okay, all his accounts, right? And if you do see it now, it's coming either from posts that were already taken, okay, or somebody or friends that have put it out. I'll just say it that way. I'm not going to say no names. Narendra says, what I saw was a professional. Yes. The guys. Yes. I can't say too much of that, Narendra. Child on Demand says, oh, thank you, Jean. Jean says, I like your voice. Thank you so much. Child on Demand says, unfortunately, some family turn a blind eye to things like this until it's too late. Yes, when it comes down to mental health, Child on Demand. Yes, we're going to talk about that on tomorrow. Look, on a political side, Patriot says, if you are watching the stream, please put a like for it. Yes, thank you guys for coming in. America says you don't need a warrant to arrest a wanted person. Neuro says they don't need a warrant when the police saw his face. They have the right to question him under reasonable suspicion. People need to know the law. And I'm glad that you guys came in, to inform us, because like I stated, this is a page that welcomes everybody, right? This is a place that your voice is heard, right? Because what I thought, like I stated, as well as other people in the chat, we thought, right? You cannot just walk up to somebody just because, right? Without a warrant. You can't just walk up to somebody and say, oh, well, let me see your ID. What are you doing? Like, you can't, that's what I thought, right? That's what I thought. Because there is a thing called, right? There's a thing called, we're going to talk about it tomorrow, that political aspect of it, right? Because it was discussed in the chat. Patriot says, last two comments are spot on. Patriot says, turn your volume down. Politic is fine. Thank you. Angel says, I want to know how old how did he know the CEO was going to walk on the sidewalk at 7:45 a.m.? Well, it was really 6:45 a.m. 6:45 a.m. And that's a great question. Great question, Angel, because that is why people are speculating, right? Did he do this by himself? And also, right, they're speculating certain things, because that is a great question. Like, how did he know at exactly 6:45 a.m. that Brian Thompson was going to be there in the front of Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, right? How did he know? And Luigi, the person that we're talking about, Luigi did go to New York 10 days prior, right? He did stay and walk around New York. They have video footage, everything of his footsteps from November the 24th all the way to December the 4th. They have over 200 images of him going all around New York. Even on the day of December the 4th, he was pacing. He was pacing so much to the point he went to Starbucks and got a bottle of water and two energy bars or protein bars. So great question, Angel. And this is why I want people to understand. This is why I got to show it, because the authorities, they are reaching back out to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. They want you guys to reach back out to the Crime Stoppers again. Yes. They want you guys to reach back out to the Crime Stoppers at 1-800, the number that you see right here. Why? Because according to them, they want to see what or where was Luigi was exactly as far as his whereabouts in Pennsylvania. Because according to them, he had been there some days, right? And thank you guys for coming in. We're going to go back down and talk about it. Right? Now, when it comes down to the gentleman that we're talking about, Luigi, he's not your typical 26-year-old. A lot of people have been calling him. Some people have been calling him a hero. Others have been calling him a criminal. And others have just been calling him innocent until proven guilty. Right? Like, well, I'm not going to do it. I was going to call somebody else's name out. But they have passed away, so I'm going to let him rest in peace. Why? Because if you must acquit, if the glove doesn't hit, you must acquit. I'm not going to say no names. Now, when it comes down to his attorney, Thomas Dickey, right? He has been in a number of interviews on various outlets. He has stated that Luigi is not guilty and there is no evidence. He's only represented the client Luigi since yesterday, Tuesday, and stated himself, Thomas Dickey has stated himself in a press conference that he has personally been practicing law for 41 years. And he's represented clients throughout Pennsylvania and in federal court. So with him, he's saying, I have the experience. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. And he also stated at the press conference yesterday that if it comes to that point, because he says he feels his client has no evidence to be found guilty of anything in New York, according to him. He said if it does come to that point, he will represent Luigi, right? And stated, like I said, he will do it. And also Thomas Dickey, he's worked both private practice, okay, with the Blair County in Pennsylvania as a public defender's officer. He's been on both sides. And he is currently representing Luigi as a private counsel. Private. So I want people to also, I notated this. That's why I wanted to talk about this with Thomas Dickey. Him being in front of cameras is not new to him. Why? Because he has acted as a legal analyst for CNN and other media outlets. And sure enough, it hadn't even been 24 hours yet. He's already going around doing interviews to multiple media outlets. As of yesterday, when he was first hired to represent the CEO suspect. I just want people to just take all that in now. Now, we're going to move and talk about this person's background when it comes down to, where his upbringing, right? We're going to talk about it. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. I'm going to read the comments. Eugeo says strategically a wrong short-term decision by Luigi, but understandable for every working people. And I want people to understand that, the actual governor, he stated it. He couldn't have said it any better. And I want people to understand this, what I'm about to read, because he couldn't have said it any better. He said, and I quote, violence can never be used to address political differences, right? Or to try to improve some ideological, okay? That is not what we do in a civilized society. Now, why do I say that? Not me. Why did he say that? And the person I'm talking about, I want to make sure I show the person that said that was this gentleman. Okay? He said it. Right? And this is fair use. I'm going to just do a quick little snippet of some things that he spoke about during the press conference that we held on Monday when they arrested him at the McDonald's. Okay? And thank you guys for coming in. This is fair use. And give me one moment because I want to make sure I hit the right key points that need to be discussed. And thank you guys for coming in. Thank you so much.
Hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero.
Now, this is what he said now.
The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
Now, I want to make sure I repeat how the governor of Pennsylvania, this is the gentleman that you're looking at, the governor of Pennsylvania, his response to Luigi. And I want you guys to answer me. Do you concur? Do you feel the same? Because Eugeo in the comments, and thank you so much, Eugeo, for coming in. Eugeo said, and I quote, strategically, a wrong short-term decision by Luigi, but understandable for every working people. That's what Eugeo said, and I'm gonna pin it. Thank you so much for coming in, Eugeo. I gotta pin it, and I'm gonna play the response of the governor, right? Because he feels otherwise.
Hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning. The real heroes every day in our society are the women and men who put on uniforms like these and go out in our communities to keep us safe.
Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the actual governor. That is what the actual governor stated in regards to, if Luigi is a hero. His response is, no, he's not. But like I said in the comments, and people outside, I'm just going to be honest, people outside of the law, okay? So a lot of people feel otherwise, okay? And to me personally, I'm going to say this. I will give my content on it, my commentary on it, my personal view on it at the end, okay? But before I do that, I'm going to actually talk about Luigi's background, right? Because earlier, remember I said this gentleman is not your average. He's not your average 26-year-old, quote-unquote, American. He's not. He comes from very prominent beginnings. Not humble, but prominent. But the question is, and I want people to understand this, the question is, when it comes down to coming from a prominent family background versus humble beginnings, right? Sometimes you can have too much money. And sometimes you can have too much, okay, as far as family prominency goes. And why do I say that? Because with this particular gentleman, Luigi, we're going to break it down. Where he's from, I'm going to show a picture. And I had to blot out his family, his parents anyway. Okay. With his parents, okay, he was born and raised where? Maryland. Has ties in also San Francisco, California. And like I stated, he comes from a prominent Baltimore family. He attended a private all-boys high school in Baltimore, and the quote-unquote tuition of this school that he attended is between $35,000 to $40,000 a year. Yes, a year. And this all-boys high school is called Gilman School. And he was the quote-unquote valedictorian back in 2016. Okay? And this is why I also think he kind of took it some way, because according to what my findings, his family, they own a number of things. Right? Gonna break it down. What do they all own? The family. Okay? Gonna highlight it. And thank you guys for coming in. The family in Baltimore area who are known for businesses include country clubs, nursing homes, radio station, and real estate. And this was founded by his grandparents, Nicholas and Mary, right? And according to this, the country clubs, they were founded in 1978 and 1986. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this is long, long money. Long, long money. Okay? I want people to understand just how long this money is. Now, when it comes down to he graduated, like I say, he's not your average. He graduated as valedictorian of his high school, right? And he ended up attending University of Pennsylvania. So smart. He ended up getting a bachelor's and a master's degree the same year in 2020. Okay, a bachelor's of science and master's of science in engineering in computer and information, right? According to his LinkedIn account. And also, and this is all before he turns 26, he founded a video game development club. And he was employed as a data engineer. Okay? And according to the company that he worked for called True Car, he had not worked there since last year of 2023. So like I stated, the reason I want to highlight that, because if you guys can go back to what I said before, his former roommate in Hawaii stated that he had back surgery earlier this year in 2024. So the question is that why he stopped working as a data engineer at True Car? Because he had been having back pain. And this picture that you're looking at, these are his parents. I want to block them out for legal reasons. Also, he has 2 sisters, quote unquote, 2 sisters. And I want to make sure to protect myself, got to block their faces out, because I'm not trying to get, quote unquote, I am not trying to get it. But yes, blot them out now. Blotting them out now. Now, when it comes down to his sisters, yes, he has 2 sisters. Okay, one sister works as a physician, right? One sister, her name is Maria, works as a physician. This is just to kind of give you a background, like he comes from a very prominent family and also a well-educated family. Then he also has another sister who is an artist. So we all have to kind of take this into perspective. Now, moving forward, he spent time in a co-living surfing community in Hawaii called Surf Break. And that particular community, that is what I wanted to make sure I highlighted. Okay? When it comes down to this particular company in Hawaii, Surf Break, because this is when he met R.J. Martin, who interviewed him to have the position. But when he was working there, he had to leave early because his prior back issues, okay, got worse. Why? Why did it get worse? Because it worsened from having a surfing and hiking incident. Okay? And according to his former roommate, gotta highlight it. According to his former roommate, R.J. Martin, who lived with him in Hawaii between January to June of 2022, he discussed the back injury that Luigi had while in Hawaii, so much that he ended up having to get surgery earlier this year of 2024. Okay? Martin has been, now with this guy, R.J. Martin, he's also been doing interviews. Okay? And like I stated earlier, in one interview, he discussed how he tried to stay in touch with the suspect, and the suspect tried to reach back out to him, right? And they just start missing each other calls, right? So much to the point later on, they ended up cutting communication off. You know, it's different lives, different worlds. But he did say, R.J. Martin did say he wished he could have tried more to be communicative to Luigi. He wished. Now, when it comes down to the family, his family, like I stated, they own a lot of things. Business, I mean, it's wild. They own nursing homes, radio station, and country clubs. Now, I wanted to give you guys an opening of Luigi's background because this particular show, this side shows you, you know, that he was a quote-unquote well-rounded person, right? He's been all over the world. He has, even with the nursing homes, I'm just going to give a breakdown. The nursing homes that his family owned. He volunteered at one of the nursing homes for, I think it was 4 or 5 months while in high school. And that was in the year of 2014, a year after his grandfather had passed away. Okay? And his grandfather, why am I mentioning his grandfather? His grandfather was the one that wanted to start the legacy. His grandfather was the first American Italian to come here and start the legacy. Okay? So had it not been for the grandfather, there wouldn't be this big prominent family background that they have today, right? So I wanted to say that because with Luigi, he is not your regular 26-year-old. He comes from a very prominent, well-educated, and because of that, in addition to that, he's been all over the world, he's also a well-rounded person. But remember what I said, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes down to this gentleman right here, right? Sometimes you can have too much. And sometimes the true things that are needed, when it comes down to things, one may lack, right? Because outside looking in, you're like, whoa, multi-millionaire family, right? 26-year-old has 2 engineer degrees, right? He's traveled all over the world, right? But so much he's lacking. Something's missing. So much to the point, right? And I want to make sure we get all this together. So much to the point, I have to mention the signs. What were the signs? Right? When it comes down to lacking. I got to scroll back up to show you who I'm talking about. The gentleman that I'm talking about, this gentleman right here. Where were the signs? Right? And remember when I spoke about his mother and I spoke about his family and friends, they had said that he had disappeared. He stopped talking to people 6 months ago. His mother was so worried, she filed a police report. Okay, San Francisco, November the 18th. His mother. And I want to make sure we understand this. It wasn't immediately clear whether he had been in San Francisco or if his mother just assumed for some reason that he was there. But these are the signs. These are some of the signs like, okay, something's going on. Okay, he's not responding to people. We don't know where he is. He's been missing for months at a time. Even with RJ Martin, he said he tried to reach out to him, right? And this is all after he had the back surgery. Luigi had the back surgery earlier this year, right? That was one of the signs. I'm not going to say that was the first sign, but that was one of the signs. Okay, the police report his mother did in San Francisco. Also, this gentleman, Ted, if you guys can't remember what he did, right? And according to Luigi, Luigi actually, he kind of agreed to the actions of what this person did. Ted Kaczynski. Okay? And if you don't know who Ted Kaczynski is, he was an American mathematician, okay, that did some bad things. I gotta make sure I be careful with my words. But he did some bad things, and what he was known for that caused him to get sentenced and punished for the crimes that he did, okay, from the years of 1978 to 1995, where he was not caught, okay, until 1995, he unalived 3 people and injured 23 others from the years of 1978 to 1995. Why am I talking about this? Because Luigi, on a website called Goodreads, he actually commented on opinion about a manifesto that Ted Kaczynski had wrote. And the comment that was written said, and I quote, "When all other forms of communications fail, violence is quote unquote necessary to survive. It's not. It's war and revolution." And Luigi said his response to that comment was interesting. So are these signs, like, the signs should have been taken seriously, right? And if you guys follow me, I've spoke about people who have mental health and signs. Like, these are things that people have to actually understand. You cannot just wait the last minute when somebody is going through mental issues, right? And they just go. You cannot just wait and go ghost, because you never know what's going to happen. And why do I say you never know what's going to happen? Look at what Luigi ended up doing. And now, because of a short-term decision, what you just said, right? A short-term decision, right? Now this has affected Luigi's entire life. All because of a split-second decision. Because Luigi, I'm going to be honest. And I'll hit on Luigi a little bit tomorrow, but I'm talking about all of him today. I'm going to be honest. He could have done so much more. He could have done so much more for those he felt was not getting the help that they needed when it came down to health care. For those that he felt like was not getting the needed help. Because remember what I just said. If you guys are just coming in, he comes from a well-prominent family. Very well. And so much, his sister, she's an actual physician. So she became a physician to actually do something, to help the sick, to help the ill. And when it comes down to even his grandfather, right? His grandfather, he was the forefront on all of this. The foundation. That was the reason he started opening nursing homes. They have nursing homes. They have real estate. They have country clubs. That was the reason as far as nursing homes. And even to the point, his grandfather even helped open up a part of a hospital. It's closed now, the hospital. But these are things that his family, they did or they're doing to help put back into the community. And this is why I respect what the Pennsylvania governor said best. He said, violence can never be used to address political differences, right? That is not what we do in a civilized society. This is why the governor of Pennsylvania said what he said. This is not the answer. And that is why, and I hope YouTube understands this, right? I hope the world understands this, right? Violence is never the answer. Never the answer, and it's never justified for any reasons. Because what you do, and you think you're making a point, you're not doing anything but hurting yourself and the ones that love you. Right? Because I want people to understand this. What he did to that CEO, Brian Thompson, guess what? Guess what? That insurance company is still in business. Still is. Right? So I want people to understand, violence is never the answer. Never. And for him to be 26 years old and have a bachelor's, master's in engineering, a sister herself. He has a sister that is a physician. He has a family that owns a number of nursing homes. Right? He has a family that not only owns a number of nursing homes, but real estate, country clubs. Even has a cousin that is a House of Representative. Okay? He's a House of Representative now in the present. So I want people to understand that. These are the things that you do if you want to be a solution to an issue. You don't do violence. Right? Two wrongs don't make a right. Now, when it comes down with these insurance companies, yes, I concur. They can do better. When it comes down to how things are being mismanaged, when it comes down to the funds, when it comes down to the quote unquote federal funding for mental health, veterans, for healthcare, for even when it comes down to hurricane, right? The funding, FEMA. Could it be better? Yes. But you cannot do two wrongs. Two wrongs don't make a right. You want to help somebody, do something that's really going to not make a point, quote unquote, by hurting somebody. Do something that's going to make a statement that affects not just that person that you disagree with, but it helps millions of people, hundreds of people. Because I'm telling you guys this, and I want people to understand this, right? I want people to understand this. What this person did, Luigi, okay, yes, he was upset. He made a point. I get it. He made a point. But the question is, and this goes out to the people who have United Healthcare insurance. And this goes out to people who have insurance that they do not feel they are being treated right. Is that going to help you, what he did December the 4th? Is what he did December the 4th to that CEO, is that going to lower your insurance? Is that going to help you at all? I just want people to understand that. Think of it on that aspect. Think of it on that aspect. And I thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. This is Politic Graham. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you would like to join the team. You can also hit that like button. Put a comment after this live if you would like to support even more. Replay this whole live if you wish. If you don't have enough time to do that, I implore you. You also support the channel by just watching 19-second clips. Yes, I have 19-second, 23-second shorts. Yes, that does help as well. Because guess what? I know people have lives. right? Because everybody doesn't come from a prominent family such as Luigi. Some of us actually work 9-to-5 jobs. Some of us actually work overtime jobs. Some of us actually work graveyard shift jobs. Some of us actually have bigger issues to deal with. Because I want people to understand this, right? It's some more things that I looked up when it comes down to Luigi, but I'm not going to go there with him. I'm not going to do it, right? Because it's not worth it. All I'm going to say, trust me when I tell you guys, right? This mental health is real. I really wish him the best. I wish not only him the best, but my prayers goes out to anybody that has been victimized, right? And I say victimized when it comes down to, and we're going to talk about it on a political side, political aspect of things, when it comes to veterans, okay, how they are affected by the mishandling of governmental funds that are supposed to be specifically for veterans, right? Specifically for veterans' families. And these are things that we'll talk about tomorrow's live. But when it comes down to this, please, ladies and gentlemen, right? Please, and I'm begging, I'm so serious when I say this. I want this to be a learning moment for us all. Please do not try to put things in your own hands, because you're not helping. You're not helping or solving the world's problems when you do this, things such as this. Because this person right here, now he is still locked up, 26 years old. 26 years old. Graduated from a all-boys school as valedictorian. At this school, it costs a year what some people don't even make in a year, between $35,000 and $40,000 a year just to go to the school that he went to, the high school that he went to, that he graduated as valedictorian. Some people don't even make that in a year, right? And if that didn't cut the cake, he graduated from University of Pennsylvania. Look up how much that tuition costs per semester. And not only did he graduate, he got a bachelor's and master's degree and became an engineer and traveled the world. Right? Why do I say he traveled the world? I mean, like I said, he comes from a prominent family. And remember what I always say, right? People are so fast to say, well, if I had this amount of money, I would do this. Are you sure? Are you sure you would do so much if you had $1 million or if you had $100 million? Are you sure? Because sometimes more money, more issues of self, right? Money doesn't make me shake. I always say that. And money should never make you shake. Right? So I want you guys to think about that. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. I'm going to go back into the comments. Patriot says normal people do not condone. You're absolutely right, Patriot. Thank you. Normal people do not condone unaliving. Thank you, Patriot. Narendra says, I once was stopped by the police when I was visiting my sister in Seattle. They said, can we see some ID? I said, I won't, because I do not want my name in any database that would impede my future travels. Wow, Narendra. I was just smoking a cigarette outside my sister's house, and they came up and said they think I was smoking. Wow. Junkyard says, new police officer conveniently brought the bag with all the goodies to arrest him. The first thing he would have done was get rid of everything or hide it, not have it on him. Patriot says non-compliance will make it worse for you. Just show your ID and move on. Don't act like a you know what. Patriot says smoke. The green is legal in Arizona. I'm smoking now. Patriot. And shout out to all of the green users, because if you guys can remember what Kamala Harris, if you would have voted for Kamala Harris, I will say that Kamala Harris, one of her policies that she wanted to implement is to legalize green. But that's just a side note. Ishmael, thank you so much for coming in. Yes, Angel Rodriguez, that part, right? Your comment is spot on. And thank you guys for coming in. I'm trying to catch up. I'm just reading the comments. Angel says after the surgery seems like he's missing some screws. And see, that's what I'm saying. When it comes down to people saying, "Oh, if I had so much money," you know, it's only so much money can buy, right? It's only so much that money can quote unquote buy. Right? Only so much. Because money cannot buy quote unquote mental health. It can't. And sometimes I want people to actually understand this. And sometimes when it comes down to this quote unquote mental health, sometimes, you know, they can put you on medications to make things, you know, not the best. That's why you have to come, you know, strong for yourself, right? And I'm not saying, you know, don't trust all medications. I would never say that. But I'm just stating, we'll talk about that tomorrow on the political side. People have to understand. When it comes down to, you know, the things that are mandated, is it really good for you? Is it? Or is it something that they're doing to make money for themselves? And I think that's one of the reasons, one of the things that Luigi wanted to quote unquote point out, because the backpack that they found in Central Park had play money, had play monopoly money in it, right? And according to what one person said, the reason that he did that allegedly was to say and show how the insurance company itself is monopoly. It's a monopoly game, as they say, right? So, but like I said, you cannot do two wrongs. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. And thank you guys for coming in. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, right? Thank you guys for coming in. The Ranger says, I know that, but to ask for my identification for smoking a cigarette, my problem was might put my information into the system. And you're right, yeah. You know, I mean, like I stated, this all could have been avoided, right? And when I say all of this altogether could have been avoided, he didn't have to do any of this to make a point. He did not have to go to New York by bus, okay, November the 24th, and wait it out, knowing, okay, waiting things out all the way to December the 4th to make his attack, as they say. He didn't have to go through all that. He didn't. And thank you guys for coming in. Angel says, we're paying our monthly fee and we're getting denied. So basically, we're getting screwed in front of our faces. And this is why I said what I said when it came down to Luigi coming from a prominent family and him having so much access to certain things, all the way down to his own relative being an actual House of Representative, and his sister being a physician, and his family owning nursing homes. And him being an engineer, right? He could have done so much more, right? Because like I said, what he did to that CEO, I'm telling you right now, more people are still going to get denied. It's not going to help what he did. Didn't help. Didn't help. And thank you guys for coming in. Hello, the Herbal Goddess. Thank you for coming in. The Herbal Goddess says, hey, politic and chat. Patriot says, sound like discrimination to me, Narendra. And I'm going to keep going down. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. Ishmael, what are you doing, Ishmael? Thank you so much. Hello, Robert. Thank you for coming back in. Hello, Mary. Junkyard says he was scared they would put him in Diddy cell. Oh, no, not the Diddy cell, Junkyard. Oh, no. Please don't bring Diddy in this. Diddy said he has enough problems. Diddy says he has enough problems. Leave Diddy out of this. And thank you guys for coming in. Patriot says, quit being nasty, Junkyard. Tyler says, free Luigi. And thank you so much, Tyler, for coming in. And I'm reading the comments. Will says, something fishy with all of this. Hello, I am Jacob. I am Jacob says, blessing, Politigram. Yes, blessing. I am Jacob. Thank you for coming in. Hello, Juan. Thank you so much, Juan, for coming in. Juan says, hello, PG. Jennifer says, I'm glad that the governor didn't politicize this dude. I bet Luigi had a nanny, so his parents didn't raise him. No excuse. And that's what I was saying, Jennifer. You know, thank you for coming. That's why I said there's no excuse for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, two wrongs don't make a right. And I understand people, yes, people have, you know, my heart goes out to the people that were mistreated by United Healthcare. And like I stated earlier, okay, in my last live or 2 lives ago, I discussed how United Healthcare is still currently in lawsuits. And so much that United Healthcare was even sued by the Department of Justice itself. Right? So, I mean, like I said, United Healthcare Insurance, they have a lot to give back, okay, to everyone that they have denied, right? Yes, I completely agree. However, it is not an excuse for this person's actions. Almost There says, it's still on Word. Yes, it's still on Word. Yes, almost there. And thank you guys. Yes, because everything that you see, I invest hours and time I do my research. I actually invest time. So everything that you see on this is what I do. Okay. I actually invested my time, and because I want to give out, you know, the news, actually give out actually news and report, right? I don't want to just give out, you know, it's too much going in the world right now, especially worldwide, nationwide, for people to just, you know, not be a voice, not quote unquote be a voice. And as my way of being a voice is actually doing the time, putting in the work of doing my research, doing and helping not only myself, okay, be well informed of what's not only going on here in America, but what is also going on in the world, right? Because I'm telling you right now, my lesson for today's live, as far as what happened on December the 4th with this gentleman, what he did, right, is, and I quote, Two wrongs don't make a right. And violence can never be used to address political differences. That's my lesson for myself. And thank you guys for coming in. Juan says, in my opinion, the conversation shouldn't just be about this guy. It should be about how the U.S. healthcare system is. And yes, Juan, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Yes, I'm going to talk about that. I said I was going to speak on it earlier, like I mentioned it. I was going to talk about that next live. How the healthcare system as a whole, right? Especially it needs work. It needs work. And we're going to break it down just how much the healthcare system as a whole needs work. And also, how has the federal fundings, right? The federal fundings for the education here in America, the federal fundings for veterans, for military, right? How has that helped or not helped? Because if we can recollect, there has recently been $95 billion sent to a war that has nothing to quote unquote do with us. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that one, or I'm sorry, John. We're going to talk about that next live. I spoke about that. Jennifer says he felt untouchable. And I think in regards to this person right here, I just think, just like I said, he comes from a certain background, a prominent family background, right? And I really feel like he just went through a lot of things, as they say. Mental is really real out here. Mental is real. And it's excuse, like I said, what he did is no excuse. But mental health is real. Because it really said a lot. What I highlighted, his mother did a alleged police report, okay, with San Francisco Police Department November the 18th, because she hadn't heard from her son for months. So thank you guys for coming in. I'm strolling down the comments. Hello, Robert. Robert says Luigi through the family of his best friend is tied. Wait a minute. Wait, I can't say. Wait, what? Wait a minute, Robert. Are you sure about this? Now, I will say, when it comes down to what's been going on, I want this to be a lesson to everybody, right? With this gentleman. And the lesson for today is do not, do any more harm than need be. We have enough issues going here in America. We have enough issues going here in the world as a whole in itself. We do not need any more issues, right? Please don't put your anger out on somebody that really cannot, it cannot help you. Cannot. If it can't help you, why? Why? And also, John, should I say John or Juan? Help me understand it. Should I say John or Juan? I'm going to say John. John says, only been a couple days and we know more about this guy than we do Thomas Crooks. Oh, no. Not more than Thomas Crooks. Oh, no. Jennifer says, I instantly thought opioid dependency. Oh, no. Art of War says, good morning, everybody. Please be respectful in the comment section. Please like and subscribe by double tapping the screen. And thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it so much. I'm trying to hurry on up and read these comments. And Art of War, I didn't want to say that, okay, in regards to Ted. I didn't want to say that, okay? Look, I didn't want to say it, but you know what I was talking about, Art of War. About Ted. Look, you know what I was talking about. Pre says, Art of War, what's up with the professor? I don't see him doing the lives like he used to. Art of War says, good morning. Art of War says, I caught a live 4 days. Who are you guys talking about? Thank you guys for coming in. The Herbal Goddess says, thank you. Art of War says, thank you. Support the news lady. Yes, please support the news lady. Yes, Jenny. Jenny, yes, this is a true crime. Yes. PRB says, Luigi did make a significant impact. Let's not forget what occurred the day after his heroic victory. Now, you're absolutely, now I will say this, when it comes down to the effects, okay, yes, a lot of companies, they have now hidden their executives' information, okay, they have pulled it, okay, I don't know how that's going to help, but you know what, and also with United Healthcare, now they have fenced their entire building in Minnesota, their main location in Minnesota, they have fenced it in. I mean, it is ridiculous. But the question goes to say, right, PRB, here's the bigger question. Did the insurance really help? I mean, people who were denied, did they reverse those decisions to deny? I'm just putting it out there. Did it really help? Or did they just help themselves by hiding their CEOs? Okay, hiding their CEOs. PRB says, do you really think he would be convicted by a jury of his peers? Highly doubtful. This guy is a hero. I can't wait. Whoa. Wow. See, now I will say this. They might turn this into a movie, but like I stated, I want people to understand this. The lesson of the day is violence. Violence is never the answer. Never the answer. Okay? Especially when you're trying to make a political point. A political point. Thank you guys for coming in. Mr. Stretch says, money will change the lives around me. Ferry says, FYI, for those that don't know the pop of the movie theater Joker, the pop for Shady Hook, both of their dads knew each other, and we're getting subpoenaed by, wait, what? Thank you guys for coming in. Child on the Man says, this shows mental health can hit anyone regardless. Let me pin that. I gotta pin that. This shows that mental health can hit anyone regardless of status. Thank you. Thank you, Child on the Man. Yes. Because we have to remember, with this man's background, he could have done so much more. But you have to love yourself from within. You have to love yourself and advocate for yourself from within. And that only person that can do that is yourself. Not your mother, not your father, not your siblings, not your kin, not your friends, not even your girlfriend or boyfriend or other. So this is why I want people to understand. Let this be a lesson, right? Do something that lifts somebody up. Do something that lifts yourself up and lifts somebody up, not put them down, right? Because what he did, he wanted to make a point by hurting somebody else or hurting a company, as they say. But the question is, did he really hurt that company? Because according to reports, United Healthcare, they're already under investigation and under multiple lawsuits, and their stock has went down. Okay. And Ferry says, I believe he was like Ted. If you know anything about him, they are very alike. Child on the Man says, mental health can hit the rich and the poor and everyone in between, and it's important to take care of you. Yes. And Ferry, and I want to Ferry, I want to back it up with what you said, Ferry. I want people to understand who Ferry is talking about is this gentleman right here. Okay. If you don't know, he was a very popular for committing crime in the years between 1978 and 1995. Okay. Where he unalived 3 people and injured 23 others. And this particular person, Luigi, actually, according to the comment under a page called Goodreads, he actually added his insight on an opinion that he shared. And the opinion and this comment was, when all other forms of communication fails, violence is necessary to survive. I don't want to repeat the other part. But Luigi commented on that opinion and said, interesting. That was his response. Interesting. So that is who Ted Kaczynski was. Okay, for you guys who didn't know who Ted Kaczynski was. Darren, thank you for coming in. Darren says large insurance companies are already changing policy publicly because of this incident. And I hope these insurance, and thank you, Darren, and thank you, PRB. What's your name, PRB? Thank you guys for, putting that out there, right? I hope that this is a lesson for not only us, but for also with what's been going on in the healthcare system as well as the insurance. I hope this, open people's minds, right? But what I really want you guys to remember, if you remember nothing else today, please, okay, when you walk out that door, you don't even have to walk out that door. You can make that phone call to someone and check up on them, right? You can make that phone call, because even just a phone call can lift somebody up. Because sometimes, texting somebody is not, is not always the answer, right? Right? We have become so inconclusive amongst ourselves that we do not know when somebody needs help. Because just like I stated with this particular guy, Luigi, he showed signs that he needed help. The question is, was it too late? And thank you guys for coming in. And I appreciate that, Darren and PRB, for throwing that out there, right? Sean the Man says, hit the like button. Yes. Pro Elite says, right. Thank you for coming in. PRB says, at Art of War, see you in class, hopefully soon. Moving on to troll something. God bless Luigi. Oh, thank you guys for coming in. Child on Demand says, Pro Elite Gaming, we have to make sure the people in the back and the people in denial hear this. And thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate all the support. Joe Black, what's up? Thank you for coming. I ain't seen you in a while, Joe Black. Joe Black says, you wouldn't believe how many global catastrophes have been happening since the CEO. Now, I hate to break it. That's why I wanted to talk about it. I'll talk about it next live. We've already been having issues before this, right? We've been having issues before this, right? And I wanted to hit on this a little bit. I don't want to make it, I don't want to, but I'm gonna just be honest. Just like they put all this search and reward out for this one person, I wish they had that same energy with people in Chicago. I wish they had that same energy in Fulton County in Georgia. I wish they had that same energy, because guess what? For every second a baby is born, every second someone passes away. And I'm telling you right now, guess what? That CEO was making $9 million a year that passed away. The CEO had so much money, he sold between $12 to $15 million of his own stock. But like I stated, You have a lot of people here in America that pass away every day, and they are still not found or missing. And if they are found, they don't know who did it. Right? If they are found, like they found that CEO on December the 4th, they still can't find who did it. But it's so interesting. Luigi did what he did, and the whole world was looking at him. One of him. So interesting. That's why I say today, ladies and gentlemen, if you learn nothing else, learn that violence is never the answer. And if you can, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to your friends, your family, or even that person that's out there that you see needs help, right? Do what you can to not only be a better you, but to help somebody be a better them if they want the help. Because based off of Luigi, he didn't want the help because he went ghost for 6 months after he had that back surgery earlier this year. So I want you guys to know, if you know nothing else, do something to better yourself today, as well as helping somebody better themselves. And that does not take money. That can just be a phone call. That could just be a hug. That could just be throwing $1 in that cup that you see somebody holding on the corner. Right? Karibu says universal health care is not only better, it is also cheaper for government and taxpayer. I don't know. Look, hey, I don't know. Look, I don't know. And thank you for coming in. Karibu says, Viva la Revolution, Luigi. Oh, my God. And see, this is what people have been stating in regards to Luigi. A lot of people have been calling him a hero. Some people have been calling him, something else, saying that he's guilty. I'm trying to be very careful with my words. And thank you, E-Champ, for coming in. Forever says, we have to accept the fact that sometimes radicals are necessary to... Wait, look, thank you for coming in. I'm going to repeat what you said. We have to accept the fact that sometimes radicals are necessary to prove a point, or else no one will pay attention. But the question is, E-Champ, does that mean going to this extreme? I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk my whole freedom to make that point. Because his freedom is gone. And guess what? United Healthcare is still in business. I'm just saying. He's locked up, but United Healthcare is still making billions. Jennifer says, thank you, Political. Thank you, Jennifer. Joe Black says, facts. The Herbal says, forever stop spamming the chat. Chop on demand. Yes, let me highlight that. Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Yes, yes. Child the man says, if you are in a crisis, feel free to text the hotline, crisis text line, text talk to 741-741. Once again, if you are in a crisis, feel free to text the hotline, crisis text line, text talk, yes. And I want people to know you are never alone. You are never alone. And don't feel like you're in a world by yourself, because you're never alone. Never alone. And Unbound says, anyone calling him a hero don't know how the healthcare system is set. And I absolutely agree, Unbound. And thank you guys for coming in. Joe Black says, something's missing. This same situation happened in another country. It's a lot of pops going on all over the world like a purge. Now, see, Joe, look, hey, that is why I said what I said, and I'm gonna talk about that in the next live. Why, we have so many issues going on here in America. I'm really trying to figure out How is it $95 billion can be sent over to other wars, okay? But we can't deal with our issues here in America. Ryan says, Forever says, yes, you have to go to the extreme. Ryan says, opiates are epidemic. Child on Demand says, for our veterans, know that we love you. Yes. And please, I'm going to pin it, please. We're going to talk about the veterans tomorrow, and I'm glad that you put that in, Child on Demand, because we're going to have a nice conversation about the veterans tomorrow's live on a political stance, right? Because I want people to just know, right? Things need to be changed when it comes down to the funds, when it comes down to people getting denied as far as insurance claims, when it comes down to people being denied treatment for mental health, when it comes down with people being denied, okay, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Jennifer says, no, universal doesn't work in England. I know because of people who live there. I know they give teens a bigger chest, use up the money. So ill people pass because there wasn't any money. Jennifer says, I think $50 billion put into medical could improve our system. And Jennifer, I'm going to pin that. Got to pin it. Because I think more can be put into the medical system. More needs to be put in. More can be put in. And we're going to break down how much this administration is trying to hurry up and put out with the wars before January the 20th. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Billions and billions of dollars, more than that 50 billion that you put out there, Jennifer. More than 50 billion. Ryan says, that's right. And thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you guys coming in so much. I appreciate you guys coming in. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share. Please replay the live. And also, after this live end, I want you guys to put in the comments after this live end. Do you think, that is the question of the day, do you think the CEO suspect, Luigi, was a hero? Or was he, quote unquote, just not guilty? Well, I'm sorry, guilty. Right? Do you think he's a hero? Or do you think he's what this quote-unquote governor of Pennsylvania called him? He called him or something else. I can't repeat what he called him in the press conference. The Herbal Goddess says, thank you. Have a great day, Politic Graham. Yes, thank you, the Herbal Goddess. Jennifer says, money laundering, is that what they are doing? Good question, Jennifer. And thank you so much for coming in, you guys. As always, I appreciate it. I did not even know I was going to be on this long. But I got to give a mad shout out to Art of War, right? Because Art of War, I think you were the first one that came in. And Art of War, I'm not going to lie. I think, had it not been for Art of War had my back today. Art of War, you had my back. And shout out to also everybody in here. Especially all of the mods. Got to give a big shout out to you guys. Child on Demand, the Herbal Goddess, Jennifer, Joe Black. Thank you, you guys. Right? And I'm going up. I got to do it. Shout out to everybody that came to this live. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for coming in. All of the mods, everybody who has watched this live, right? Shout out to everybody that came in. Shout out to Jennifer. Shout out to everybody. I got to read it. Shout out to John. Shout out to I Am Jacob. Shout out to Patriot. Shout out to everybody that came into this live. Shout out to Junkyard. Shout out to Narendra. Okay. Shout out to Robert. Shout out to everybody that came in. Angel, thank you for coming in. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Please hit that like button. Like I said, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support even more, you can also donate a super sticker or become a member. And as always, I will end the live like I always end the live. I always end the live on a positive note because we never want to walk in this world on a negative note, right? We always want to walk into life on a positive note. We need more positivity in this world. There's already enough ill will and negativity as is. Ryan says, what time tomorrow? Good question, Ryan. Thank you so much. The time tomorrow, I would suggest you please hit that notification button. Please subscribe to the channel. Okay, I normally come in the morning times, all right? Between 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern time is when I'll come in. Don't look, fingers crossed, I normally come in between 7-ish a.m. Eastern time in USA time. Child on Demand says, all the energy to hate can be used to spread the word. Yes, yes. Like and share the live is free and supports the content creator. Also hit the notification bell for future content. Soulful says at Child on Demand, no thank you. This is so lazy. I hope it never gets wrecked. What? Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. And like I stated, I always end on a good note. I always end on a good note. Number one, eliminating. That is what we just did. Eliminate the negativity in our lives in this chat. Eliminate the ill. Focus on the present. And also, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning I will be back. Okay, please hit that notification. Please subscribe if you would like. Please donate if you would like. Also, eliminate. Like I stated again, eliminate the if. Focus on the present. Number two, focus on self and not others. Also, number three, tell yourself, I will learn something new every day. Number four, always say, I will not get upset at what I don't have control of. Mag Pete, thank you for coming in, says, have a good day, y'all. Like I said, number four, tell yourself, I will not get upset at the what I don't have control of. And last but not least, advocate for yourself. Speak up, because if you don't speak up, who else will? And I got to repeat that one more time. Number one, eliminate the if, focus on the present. Number four, focus on self, not others. Number three, tell yourself, I will learn something new every day. And also, tell yourself, I will not get upset at what I don't have control of. And last but not least, advocate for yourself, because if you don't speak up, who will speak up for you? And thank you again. Shout out to everybody that came in. And please hit that notification. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. And always have a peace of mind and always be in peace. This is Politic Graham. Bye!